Welcome back to the November 10th edition of Newswatch, and thank you for joining us for our election special on Tuesday. In tonight's top stories, we have a lot of updates on our new president-elect Donald Trump.
We also have plenty of updates from around campus, such as Sigma Kappa's annual fashion show. We also have a special package for Veterans Day.
I've got your latest on the upcoming cyclone matchups and more.
And it was another warm and mild day out there. How long is this going to keep continuing? We'll have all the details on that coming up. Newswatch starts now.
Thanks for watching and have a good rest of your night and week. Stay classy, Cyclones.
Welcome again to Newswatch. I'm Paul Hadish.
And I'm Annebeth Ahrenholz. Here are tonight's stories. Iowa State's Sigma Kappa Epsilon will be hosting their annual fashion show, Ultraviolet, this Friday from 7 to 9 p.m. at the Gateway Hotel here in Ames. The fashion show is meant to help the sorority meet their fundraising goal of $20,000 towards Alzheimer's research. So far, they've raised $15,000. They are selling tickets to the show for $7 for students and $10 for non-students. These can be bought from any member of Sigma Kappa or at the door the day of the event. The fashion show will feature pieces created by students as well as pieces from local businesses, Portobello Road. There will also be a silent auction, appetizers, and refreshments.
Iowa State's student government held a meeting last night to reflect and discuss thoughts and feelings on the presidential election results. The election discussion was part of the open forum part of each government meeting. Student government President Cole Stout was quoted as saying, "After an election, you should not be in fear. I hope and pray that Mr. Trump realizes he is the president for all." Following that discussion, the student government gave funding to more clubs on campus and discussed updates on the Board of Regents. One of the biggest decisions implemented, however, was the support to make American Sign Language an official minor program here at Iowa State.
Are you in the Christmas spirit already, but people are telling you it's too early for Christmas music? Setzer Orchestra's 13th annual Christmas Rocks Tour will be coming to Stevens Auditorium this Sunday at 7 p.m. The iconic guitarist, songwriter, vocalist, and three-time Grammy Award winner Brian Setzer and his 19-piece orchestra perform retro holiday music on their current tour. The show also features music from their latest Christmas album, Rockin' Rudolph, along with their three other best-selling holiday albums and original Brian Setzer hits. Tickets range from $39 to $79, so don't miss your chance to get yours.
Katy Perry announced that she will not be performing as the headlining star of Alibaba's Singles Day concert in China. Perry has an extremely large following in China, and she apologized to her fans on a Chinese social media platform. Katy Perry stated her reason for missing the concert was a family emergency. She has also been vocal about her disappointment in Donald Trump winning the presidential election, as she is a staunch Hillary Clinton supporter, and there are speculations that this might be the reason she was not involved in the concert.
Jay Ahrenholz, a legendary escape artist and one of the most awarded illusionists in history, will perform in Ames on Friday, November 11th. His show has been voted by many audiences and critics one of the top 10 live shows in America. Ahrenholz has amazed millions on TV in Master of Illusions and Magic on the Edge. He welcomes people into his mysterious world of wonder and the impossible. The Salt Lake Tribune refers to him as simply amazing, and the Tokyo Times calls his elaborate production truly magic. A must-see. Ahrenholz spent 2008 touring China and Japan, where his show received the Best Touring Family Show in Asia award. Now back in the U.S., he is working on his new TV series and his live show, Dare to Believe. He will perform in Stevens Auditorium at 7:30 p.m. Tickets range from $29 to $79.
Tomorrow's date, November 11th, marks Veterans Day. Veterans Day was established to allow Americans to remember the military men and women who have served this country. Josh Lamberty has a special package on the occasion.
Hidden beneath the beauty of a college campus lie the memories of our nation's heroes. Tomorrow, Veterans Day, recognizes the sacrifice of all servicemen and women, both living and deceased.
It's a time for people to honor and respect those who have served in foreign wars. particularly those who sacrificed, with their life or, severe injury, but even those just, more recently that spent substantial amounts of time away from home.
Among the many ways to support our troops and our veterans is through supply drives. On Iowa State's campus, 20 Air Force cadets planned and executed a supply drive for our troops occupying Mosul, gathering various items that we may generally take for granted.
So we set up supply drive boxes and put up flyers all around campus and residence halls. And entertainment, so like books, games, cards, foods, non-perishable food items, kind of just stuff as college students we would need to.
I think all those things benefit. It's amazing how we would routinely get on the aircraft carrier letters from school children, and that was surprisingly, it even surprised myself at how much I enjoyed receiving things like that.
As we celebrate Veterans Day, it is important to remember
most veterans, myself included, aren't looking for any kind of pat on the back or anything like that. We do what we do for a variety of reasons, but virtually nobody does it for accolades.
And instead develop an understanding of their sacrifice, a sacrifice that keeps families apart for months or even years at a time. Our servicemen and women who gave the ultimate sacrifice lead us to the corner of 5th Street and Grand Avenue, the Ames Veterans Memorial, paying tribute to each individual's commitment to strength, to unity, and to peace. As we recognize and celebrate this Veterans Day, we say thank you to all who have served. Their sacrifice for our country is met with immense gratitude. Tomorrow, take time to recognize Veterans Day.
It's in honor to their sacrifice.
Because of their service, we remain the land of the free and the home of the brave. Saluting all United States veterans, Josh Lamberty, ISU TV.
Special thank you to Josh Lamberty for putting that together, and we here at ISU TV would like to thank any of our veteran viewers for your service and dedication to this country. Remember to pay your respects to your service members tomorrow.
Coming up after the break, we have all your latest on the aftermath of the election.
And the rise of marijuana usage among college students. Don't go away, that's all coming up right after this.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Not only did
America elect a president on Tuesday, but California, Massachusetts, and Nevada all voted to legalize recreational marijuana. What does that mean for college students? Patrick Lamar has more.
College students in the United States are getting more high than any time in the past 36 years. 1980 was the last time statistics of marijuana usage was this high. According to a study done by the University of Michigan, 1 in 17 college students regularly use marijuana 20 or more times every month. With states legalizing marijuana, the growing number of users, and influence from the media, college-age students are becoming more accepting of the drug. Iowa State's activist club, NORML, feels as though the drug has been given a bad rep and it should be more widely accepted.
Hopefully we see it completely legalized throughout all 50 states, but that's a big jump and hope to have because there's a huge war on drugs there's a lot going on, but hopefully we can get more word out there about medical uses and the good things that marijuana, cannabis can bring to the United States. We hope to just get the word out there about the good uses of marijuana and what it can do for people, and about how it's like grade-wise, it's in grade 1, which is the worst. It's like with meth and like heroin, and like it's not in its correct spot, which it's like grade 1 says that it has absolutely no medical use whatsoever, like it can't be tested on in the US, so that's not true, as we know. So our hope is to get words out there, answer questions that people have, like do good. We do a lot of volunteer work.
53% of Americans say that they support marijuana legalization. However, MDMA and cocaine usage among college students has also gone up, which means marijuana could be a gateway to drugs. ISU's Trenton Main says he thinks safe usage of marijuana can be beneficial.
I think that, like, college is very, very, very stressful, and I think that they could use it to just calm down, just relax. I think eventually it'll be legalized all around. I think it'll take a while, but I think before anything, medically, it'll definitely be in a few years.
For ISU TV with Paul Hadish, I'm Patrick Lamar.
For those always looking for ways to be creative and help a worthy cause, drop in at the workspace in the Memorial Union Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. to make simple dresses out of pillowcases that provide relief and hope for children in Africa. The workspace will provide supplies, but says they can use volunteers to assist with making dresses. From cutting fabric and ironing to sewing, they say that there is a place for anyone who has time to spare to come help. This event will help a community of children in the orphanages of Central Africa.
Disappointment and frustration was brought forth by the presidential election and is still on full display. On Wednesday, protesters across the nation took to the streets. Police say that most of the protesters were peaceful, however, some of them grew violent. People carried flags and anti-Trump signs while they disrupted traffic and refused to accept Donald Trump as president. Thousands of protesters in California burned a giant papier-mâché version of Trump and started fires across Oakland and Los Angeles. Police in California moved in with riot gear to disperse the crowds and to take violent protesters into custody. That evening, there were 6,000 demonstrators in the Oakland streets causing vandalism to buildings and American flags. Tear gas was deployed and 30 arrests were made after protesters began throwing objects at officers. A similar protest took place in Manhattan that drew close to 10,000 people. More developments are to be released.
Sharbat Gula, the girl known as the Afghan Girl, after gracing the cover of National Geographic magazine in 1984, has returned to her home country after deportation from Pakistan. Gula arrived in the country in the 80s when Afghan refugees fled to Pakistan during a civil unrest. Gula's striking green eyes captured the interest of National Geographic readers and made the Afghani refugee crisis well known across the globe. Afghanistan had ordered the refugees to return, but Gula had obtained paperwork illegally to pass as a Pakistani citizen. She was welcomed by Afghani President Ashraf Ghani upon her return yesterday.
Despite having just been deemed president-elect, Trump is due in court in multiple lawsuits over the next couple of months. One of these is the Trump University fraud case. Trump is due to serve as witness on November 28th in a case against his real estate seminar program. This puts him under the rule of U.S. District Judge Gonzalo Cirillo, who Trump has made comments about regarding his Mexican heritage and being a conflict of interest. Other cases include an investigation by the New York Attorney General of the Donald J. Trump Foundation, in which Trump is accused of violating a state law stating Trump failed to register solicitations of donations to the foundation. That investigation is still ongoing. Early in the year, Trump was accused of raping a 13-year-old girl in the 90s, but those allegations were dropped during the final days of the presidential election.
Paul Trombino, the director of the Iowa Department of Transportation, unexpectedly resigned from his position today. Trombino was appointed by his position by Governor Terry Branstad in 2011 after years of work in Wisconsin's DOT. Trombino has said that the reasons for his resignation are nothing troubling, but that it was just a good time to leave. He went on to state that he will be looking for jobs in the private sector after his resignation becomes effective November 28th. The Des Moines Register reports that the agency and its 2,500 plus employees is left in good shape.
U.S. President-elect Donald Trump met with President Obama today for transition talks at the White House. Obama said that he was encouraged by their excellent and wide-ranging conversation. Trump was accompanied to the White House by his wife Melania, who is meeting with the First Lady Michelle Obama. The president-elect has barred journalists from traveling with him to cover the meeting with Obama. President Obama congratulated Trump in a phone call early Wednesday and said that it was no secret that he and Mr. Trump have pretty significant differences.
After the break, we have Garrett Kroeger here at the desk with all your sports news.
Stay tuned, you're watching Newswatch.
When I was a young boy, my father took me into the city to see a marching band. He said, "Son."
Tune into the midweek roundup with me, your host, Michael Moreau. I'm Jacob Lee. We are going to talk about all sorts of things like baseball, or even debate the fact that the Vikings are going to finish third in the NFC North this year.
They're going to win the North again this year.
Tim Weeman, host of the Sound of the Storm.
Connor Ferguson.
Hunter Smith.
Talk about all college sports and NFL, MLB, and our Storm is definitely brewing.
I'm Blake Akery, and I'm the host of the Sports View.
And I'm TJ Reed.
We talk college basketball and NBA.
And all things Iowa State.
Tim Weeman.
Patrick Stanek.
Hank Zimmerman.
Tune into the weekend pregame as we warm up the sports weekend ahead, including many segments with Pick'ems and Tim's Trivia.
I'm Taylor Menkel.
I'm Mary Rominger.
I'm Andrea Safar.
And I'm Joey Mullins.
And we talk a lot of different sports here, including
NHL and cyclone hockey,
world football,
American football,
basketball, and many other segments. Make sure to step into the Clone Zone.
I'm Michael Manzer.
I'm Mary Rominger.
I'm Dylan Ryan.
And I'm Zach Williamson.
And this is Cyclone Talk. Listen in for live interviews and analysis from these guys.
Welcome back. I'm Garrett Kroeger, and here is your end of the week sports update. The Iowa State football team will be trying to claim its first Big 12 road win in 3 years as they travel to Lawrence, Kansas to take on the Kansas Jayhawks. The last time Iowa State won on the road in conference play was all the way back in 2013 when it defeated the West Virginia Mountaineers by the score of 52-44 in triple overtime. The matchup of the Cyclones against the Jayhawks will feature two one-win teams, and whoever loses is likely to finish last in the Big 12. The two teams will square off at 11 a.m., and you can watch this sure to be excitement on FSN. While the ISU football team has been, to speak the minds of Cyclone fans everywhere, underwhelming, Cyclone fans should rejoice with ISU basketball returning tomorrow. Both the men's and women's teams will tip off their seasons. The women's team will play against UC Santa Barbara at noon, with the number 24 men's team will take on Savannah State at 7 p.m. Both games will be at Hilton Coliseum, which makes it a great chance to show what Cyclone fans are made of. The ISU volleyball team will look to extend its 5-match win streak this Saturday when the Texas Longhorns arrive in Ames. If Cyclones want to increase their streak, they will have to stop the Longhorns' opponent hitting ability because Texas leads the Big 12 in hitting percentage. However, Iowa State is number 3 in the conference in opponent hitting percentage, making it one of the best defensive teams in the league. It should be an exciting match up if you can make it. Game starts at 4 p.m. and again, it's here in Ames and none other than Hilton Coliseum. The United States men's soccer team faces a huge test tomorrow as they take on their bitter rivals, Mexico and Columbus, Ohio. This fierce contest kicks off the final hexagonal round of matches for the CONCACAF region, with only 3 of the 6 teams guaranteed to make it to the 2018 World Cup in Russia. The United States have never lost to Mexico and Columbus, although they most recently lost to El Tri at home for the first time in several years. The match will also feature many activities celebrating Veterans Day with a full field American flag and the participation of military servicemen turned Paralympic national team players. Kickoff is set for 7 o'clock Central Time and will be broadcast on Univision, Deportes, and Fox Sports 1. That's all I have for you today. Don't go away. Zane will tell you how your weekend weather is looking. Stay tuned.
And Welcome back. If you look at this map behind me, here's our highs today that we saw out there. Keep in mind, we're getting into middle of November, so this is pretty warm. 69 degrees in Waterloo today, 71 here in Ames, 72 in Des Moines, and 71 down in Ottumwa today. Right now, we're sitting at 57, starting to cool off into the evening hours, and the winds from the north-northwest at 16, so still pretty mild out there. Much of the state's pretty much the same wherever you go across Iowa. 52 in Mason City and clear skies, 54 in Fort Dodge, and 58 degrees down in Des Moines at this hour. If we look at our clouds and radar, still pretty boring out there. It pretty much just looks like a moving clock up in the corner. No rain, no clouds to speak of out there. Actually hasn't rained for a long time, so we're actually below normal on precip for the year now. If we zoom out, pretty clear across most of the country as well. No clouds to speak of across the continental U.S. today. So if we zoom in and head on to our future cast, not much is going to change. I'm going to put this in motion here. We're going to go through tonight, into tomorrow, through tomorrow, and not much is going to change. The clear skies, calm conditions out there, and as we get into Friday night, tomorrow night, into Saturday, all right, this model's trying to paint in just a little bit of snow showers out there. All right, don't be concerned about that yet. It's probably not going to happen. Not all the ingredients are there for that yet, so this model's probably just a little bit off, but it is going to be pretty cold and crisp as we get into tomorrow night. Tonight, in the meantime, though, not so much. Mid to upper 30s, maybe touch on 40 degrees as we go through the overnight hours into tomorrow morning across the state. As we get into the middle of tomorrow, we'll work our way up to the upper 40s, a little low 50s as you move across the state to the south and west. Pretty normal for this time of year. So tonight here in Ames, low of 36, it'll be clear and calm, light winds from the north, so mid-30s is pretty average for mid-November. We get into tomorrow, 50 degrees, sunny and seasonable, winds from the northeast at 5 to 10, but like I mentioned on Futurecast, when we get into tomorrow night, it's going to be pretty cold and crisp out there, so if you're headed out to Hilton for the Cyclone basketball season opener, when you leave the game, it's going to be pretty cold out there. So here's that low tomorrow night. Low at 26, we get into Saturday morning, and then Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and next Thursday, mid to upper 50s, maybe get into the 60s, but other than that, clear and dry into next week. The dry trend will continue, and that's pretty much all I got to talk about. Stay with us. More Newswatch is coming up next after the break.
Welcome back to Newswatch. Rob Kardashian and Blac Chyna gave birth to their first child together. Today, Chyna and Kardashian welcome baby girl Dream Renee Kardashian into the world. The two have their own reality television show, Rob and Chyna, on E! Network, a spin-off from the Keeping Up with the Kardashians. Both mother and baby are healthy.
Role-playing game Dungeons & Dragons has been selected to be inducted into the Strong's National Toys Hall of Fame this year. It beat out Transformers, Care Bears, Clue, and Bubble Wrap, among others, for the induction. It will be joined by Fisher-Price's Little People in the Swing. Strong Museum played curator Nick Ricketts says that Dungeons & Dragons deserves the induction because it was groundbreaking. He says it opened the doors for other kinds of table games that borrow many of the unique mechanics. Ricketts also attributes Dungeons & Dragons to the popularity of other role-playing games such as World of Warcraft.
A koala bear was found inside a wanted woman's bag in Brisbane, Australia this past weekend. Authorities were looking for the woman, and when they detained her, they found a 6-month-old koala bear in her handbag. She says she had been caring for the adorable bear since she found him in the road the night before. The bear is now in custody of the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, Queensland. He is healthy and he has been given the name Alfred.
The long-anticipated prequel to the Harry Potter movies, Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, has a surprise role that has some fans upset. Johnny Depp will appear in the film as Gellert Grindelwald, the one of the most dangerous and dark wizards of all time. Fans criticized the casting choice after allegations of the star's abuse with the ex Amber Heard.
The mysterious deaths of Tupac Shakur and the notorious B.I.G. will be the center focus of a new crime series. The series was picked up by USA earlier today. The series will be scripted and seen through the lens of former Los Angeles Police Department in charge of solving both crimes. Both rappers were killed in drive-by shootings. Only B.I.G. was 25 and Shakur was 24. And that's all we have for this edition of Newswatch.
Thank you for joining us. Stick around for Ames tonight at 9 p.m.
Have a great and safe weekend, Ames.